Good day, everyone. My name is Dirk Wagener. I'm the Subprogram Coordinator for the Resource Efficiency Subprogram of the United Nations Environment Programme, based here in Nairobi. I would like to welcome you to Module 4, Applying Policies for Sustainable Consumption. If you look at African population growth and African demographics, one thing is very clear. Consumption will increase dramatically over the next decades in Africa. Currently, Africa has a population of about 1.1 billion people, but that population is poised to rise to about 2.4 billion people by 2050. That means the African population will more than double by 2050. So that, of course, goes hand in hand with an increased consumption. There's an increasingly populous middle class. In the next 10 years alone, we will add about 90 million consumers to the African market. That is combined with a large degree of urbanization. By 2050, about 50% of the African population will actually live in cities. So all that will mean that there will be an increase of demand, be it for food, be it for housing and building, be it for transportation services. All of this is good because Africa is developing. There's an increasing standard of living. We hope that by 2030 or by 2050, hunger and poverty will be a thing of the past. At the same time, more affluent lifestyles will have an increased impact on our environment. So that's why it's so important that we promote sustainable consumption and sustainable lifestyles in Africa. There are, of course, a number of policy options governments can choose to put in place. One of them is called choice editing, which basically stands for banning or taxing certain products. Let's say CFCs have been banned in most countries from coolants which you use in your refrigerator or in your air condition. So governments can simply choose to ban the access to environmentally unfriendly or unsustainable products. The same goes for light bulbs or for single-use plastic bags. So the government has basically the choice to ban certain products and not to allow consumer access to them anymore. That is one option of policy. The other option, of course, are certain tax regimes or fiscal policies or subsidies which you can use to promote the use of certain products. You can, for example, subsidize small solar panels for rural households, or you can subsidize the purchase and use of electric vehicles. So these are all different policy choices the government has available to create an enabling environment. A third choice might be, and I mentioned it before, creating access to information. If you create the right consumer information, both through the media as well as on the products itself, consumers are in a better position to make sustainable choices. In many countries, specifically developing countries, spending for public procurement can make up to 50% of the country's GDP. So in other words, many countries spend an incredible amount on public procurement. If those countries adopt sustainable public procurement standards into their tendering system, into their public procurement systems, they can have a huge impact on the supply side of sustainable products. The earlier you start, the better. You have to go actually from the kindergarten, from the preschool onwards, you have to raise the awareness of the citizens and of the children to adopt more sustainable lifestyle choices. It's not necessarily about consuming less, but it's about consuming differently. So if you embed those type of educational elements into your education system, starting from a very early age up to tertiary education. That will make a huge difference. And again, governments can play a key role here because it is usually the ministries of education which develop the curricula for schools and also universities. So by making the right choices in terms of your curricula and by ensuring that education for sustainable consumption production is mainstreamed into each and every curricula in the country, governments can again make a huge impact on sustainable consumption production. So I would like to thank you very much, and I would like to encourage you all to actively participate in the course. I know that there are discussion fora, there are quizzes and exercises, reading assignments. You are the policymakers of today, and you will have a huge impact on the choices of tomorrow and of the development of the entire continent. So I would really like to encourage you to actively participate in the training course and to make the best use of it. Thank you very much.